Okay, so a movie that is hanging on despite the fact that everybody hates it is The Nun. Yes. And the premise of The Nun is a dude finds a dead nun outside of a nunnery and calls the Vatican, and they send a not-so-nun, almost nun, and a priest to go out there and figure out what the heck is going on. Yes. Now, I think The Conjuring is considered a great movie. The Nun will never be considered a great movie. In this movie, you have essentially demon zombie nuns, not nearly enough of them, being jump-scared dicks and otherwise being completely non-scary. And there's this just bizarre moment where the priest winds up buried, and we're not really sure how that works, but it's like the nun digs him up miraculously, and they find a bunch of books in the grave, and they're like, maybe those books will help us. And okay, lazy writing, but why would... is the thing that buried him helping him or hurting him? Because it gave him a key to unlocking this whole mess. So that's one of those things. And I mean, look, one of the things about the nun character, or Valak as is known in the later movies, is that this character was just super creepy. It hid in the shadows. It was a secondary thing that just, it was there, and you scared the heck out of you, because nuns are a little on the scary side, especially if you grew up with them. The problem with the movie The Nun is that, for one thing, there's more than one nun in it. So you really can't call it The Nun. You should have called this movie Valak, because that's the name of the character. It's the demon Valak. And further along, I really think this one lone guy, or even two guys, because there's a secondary male character, stuck in a nunnery with a bunch of crazy old ladies would have been more scary than this movie. I mean, yes, there are some images that are pretty dang scary. The whole lipless nun monster thing, that's pretty scary, and I get that. But I mean, there's this sort of loose reference to World War I think, and the bombings that took place there, and there's this portal to my sister's house, and you know, you've got the nun, which is Marilyn Manson, trying to get out of my sister's house, and essentially the Vatican saying, no, Marilyn Manson, your music is demonic, you stay in Richard's sister's house. I'm not feeling good. Anyway, so what it all boils down to is The Nun is lazily written. It is a well-crafted movie in terms of its visual effects and haunting imagery, but the writing is just not there. It is a slower movie than it should be, and the monsters will not stay with you. Although I will say, as I was suffering from sleep deprivation at work, I did have a dream involving the lipless nun monster. But it didn't scare me because, you know, I've seen my sister. Anyway, that's just my opinion. I'd love to hear yours down in the comments below. I am Richard Leland Neal.